The founders of Adidas and Puma, Rudolf and Adolf Dassler, are siblings. But they hated each other so much that they never spoke for the rest of their lives. To teach soldiers to distinguish between left and right, Peter the Great ordered them to tape hay to their left foot and straw to their right. The Feldfebel only had to command, hay, straw, and the company typed a step. Generally speaking, European peoples as far back as 300 years ago, only educated people, but not peasants, were able to use the concepts right and left. The oldest advertisement was found in the ruins of the ancient Greek city of Memphis. The inscription, composed 500 years BC, reads, "I, Rhino of Crete, by the will of the gods interpret dreams." The first ever traffic accident involving a car, and it was an electric car, occurred on May 30th, 1896 in New York. Henry Wells, in his vehicle, collided with a bicycle Evelyn Thomas, who escaped with a broken leg. During the Middle Ages in Europe, many nobles suffered from a certain mental disorder expressed in the belief that they were made of glass. Such people were afraid that they might break, and it is known, for example, that King Charles VI of France did not allow others to touch himself and wore thick, soft clothing so as not to break. In 19th century India, letter carriers carried long sticks with iron bowls tied to their ends. If they were chased by wild beasts or snakes, the letter carriers would scare them off with the sticks. The burden of the messengers could be up to 35 kilograms. As a rule, the letter carriers were on the run, covering up to 160 kilometers in 2 days. At the court of King Louis XV of France, aristocrats ate only soup, as they were convinced that excessive chewing could cause premature facial wrinkles. Surprises from a chocolate egg have been delighting us since 1972. They were invented by Henry Roth, a Swiss designer who came up with the idea of creating a toy that fits inside a Kinder Surprise. Hitler, at least in the last years of his life, was a staunch vegetarian. If Hitler watched a movie in which there was a scene of animal abuse or death, he would close his eyes and open them only after warning his neighbor that the scene was over. Big Ben is not the name of the tower or even of the clock on it. It was originally named after the bell in the clock, which weighs about 14 tons, and then the name was extended to the clock and the tower itself, which is officially called the Elizabeth Tower in honor of the Queen. In 1890, a little girl named Daisy came up with a novel, wrote it down, and threw it away in a long drawer. At the age of 13, she stopped being interested in literature altogether. Time passed, and after her mother died, Daisy Ashford and her sisters climbed into the attic. There she found her old manuscript and reread it. Oddly enough, she and her sisters liked it. They gave it to friends who showed it to a publisher they knew, and after a while there was a book with a foreword by J. Barrie, the author of Peter Pan. He who does not take risks does not drink champagne. When Madame Clicquot was widowed, she inherited rich wine cellars. It was dangerous to go down into these cellars because of exploding champagne bottles, so they wore special suits in the cellars to protect them from splinters, hence the phrase, "He who does not risk does not drink champagne."